welcome to another episode of Tiny Nest. I'm Kiva.
And I'm Jake. This series is following our tiny house project from the early stages through to completion and beyond.
In this episode, we show how we use spray foam to insulate the windows and door.
Alright, the rock-solid insulation is complete. The only thing we need to do to finish insulating is to get the gaps around the windows and around the door jamb. So now we're going to have to deal with an issue that we identified while we were installing the windows, which is that we've been left with a very small gap on the bottoms and tops of the windows. When we were figuring out the framing, we made sure to allow for a gap around the perimeter of the entire window, but we didn't take into account during that time that we were going to add these pieces of wood to give a slope to the bottom of the sills. So by putting these pieces in, we actually used up a lot of that extra vertical space we had allowed for in the framing and are now left with quite a narrow gap. We're going to use this canned spray foam stuff that's made specifically for this type of application, and it comes with a little extender tube here so that you can get right into the gap. And as you can see, the sides are going to be fine to apply it properly, but on the bottom and pretty much the same on the top, there's no way that the tube is going to be able to actually get in there. So before I go ahead and make a horrible mess of the windows, I've just screwed a couple scrap pieces of wood together with a shim in between to sort of simulate the same type of gap I have to deal with. The applicator tube is not going to fit in there, so I'll be able to see how the stuff comes out, if it's going to spray all over the place, and also I can see how far it'll penetrate, and this way I'll know, if I need to take a different approach before I go ahead and have at her on the windows. Alright, I have shaken up the can significantly as directed, and I'm going to see what happens here. If anything happens. Oh my god. Okay, so that happened. That was, I don't know if that was just breaking the seal or something, but holy Jesus. Okay. Let's try that again. I was like very carefully squeezing it and then just went insane. There we go. Oh my god. Yeah, this might make a pretty nasty mess. Trying to squeeze it carefully and it's just like going insane. Okay, let's try this again. I guess I might just have to go kind of slow, or rather, go kind of quick, because there's only so slow that I can make it come out of the can. I'm sure glad I did this test. Okay, well, I mean, there's only one thing to do, and that's just get it in there and hope for the best, I guess. I'm going to get the sides done to give myself a little bit more practice controlling the spout here, which is a bit insane, and then hopefully I can get enough into the top and bottom. Oh my god. So we'll see how much that expands. I saw a video, I watched a couple of videos on doing this, and one guy was saying that when it cures, the surface of it creates like an air barrier. So if you just fill it all in one go and then slice it with a knife, when you cut through, you're exposing the kind of inner foam, and it's no longer perfectly airtight. So he was suggesting to kind of do one pass and then do another. Obviously, this one I overdid. I might not be able to do that just because, we don't have enough of a gap. Good to know for the future to leave a bigger gap to work with like this. That wasn't too bad. I think maybe the initial sort of pressure is super intense in the can, and then it becomes a bit more manageable as you go. So now the bottom is probably going to be the worst. I managed to not overfill the right side like I did the left side, so I will try to do another pass on that after, and I'll do my best to do that on all the rest of the windows. But it worked actually closer to what I was expecting on the top and bottom, just trying to kind of have it spurt into the hole instead of, you know, spraying all over the place. And then I just have to hope that it's gonna expand in there enough. I don't know. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, right? But that's not too messy. We'll clean it up once it cures. You just cut it off with a knife, and I'll show that too. I did manage to get a better feel for it, and in most of the windows I've done the kind of half fill on the sides. Obviously the top and bottom I'm just doing what I can, but I got that half fill. I'm letting it cure, and then we'll do another layer to finish it off. And one can did the first pass basically on all 9 windows, and I haven't touched the door yet, which has got a lot more volume in there, so I'm going to need at least one more can. This is cured. Oh my god. It's also stuck to the paper. Oh my god. So, wow. Ah, no. I got it on myself. Pro tip, don't do that. I'm going to pull this apart and see what happened. That's pretty good. So even with this one, which obviously I way oversprayed, it penetrated in, that's like 1.5 inches probably. So that's good to know, because the windows are, I can't remember how deep they are, but they're not that deep. They're, yeah, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. So we'll have pretty good fill, I think, all the way around. All right, I'm going to do the gap around the door now, having done the windows and sort of learned a little bit about using this stuff. It should be pretty easy. I'm going to do the same thing by filling in sort of the depths first, about halfway full, letting that cure, and then filling it right up to the surface here after. And there's going to be a lot more obstacles. There's a bunch of shims, and then if you had seen when we did the door and we were sealing everything intensely, we had actually put some caulking inside where the deadbolt and the latch go, and sort of made like a bit of a donut seal. So that's actually good, because now that we're doing this, we're not risking having the foam fill in and interfere with the mechanism, because it's already basically gasketed with the caulking. So that's good. Yeah, and there's a much bigger gap at the top, so it's just going to take a lot more foam, but there shouldn't be anything special about it. So the first application I did, you saw the very first bit that came out was like crazy. So I might actually just squirt this into a paper towel here, just in case it like explodes like that last one. Because again, I don't want to make a huge mess out of this. I don't know if there's like a seal that you break or something. Here we go. I'm realizing as I'm doing this that I should have a flashlight to see what the heck I'm doing in here. I might actually do that. Alright, this side was pretty good. I filled in the depths, but the other side was quite a bit tighter, just the way that the door ended up after sort of messing with it for a bit. So I had the same kind of situation as the tops and bottoms of the windows, where I just had to put the little hose on the can right up to the seam and just do my best to fill it in. But I think it's going to be good enough. And then the top actually might take more than 2 passes, because it's so much volume to fill. So I just done one pass there, and then just gonna carry on and finish it off. All right, here's a window that I need to do a second pass on. So I just need to fill up, you know, the remaining gap in there so that the foam is expanded past the surface of the window. So I think that should pretty much do it for that one. Just need to let it cure and then cut off the excess. All right, here's a shot of the spray foam all set. And then when I went to cut off all the excess, I scored it with a utility knife and then sort of peeled it off. And in doing so, I sort of chewed it up a bit, ripping off a little bit more than I had intended to. So as I carried on, I actually took my blade out of the utility knife, laid it right flat against the surface of the, you know, the perimeter of the window, and then used that as a guide to slice into the foam. And then I would slice or sort of peel it back from the other edge, and it came off much cleaner, and that's how I've been going about it now, and I think it's going to work pretty well.
If you want to see some of our previous videos, click on the preview tiles, and subscribe if you want to follow our progress. You can also visit our website here.
And then even slicing it. Motherfucker.